Hello friends, today I'm going to share with you the story entitled White Owl, Barn Owl, and it's written by Nicole Davies and illustrated by Michael Foreman. And this is a book that has nonfiction and fiction details. It's written in a story form, which is a fiction, but it also has a lot of facts, which is a nonfiction. So this is an unusual or a different type of text. This story is about a grandfather who takes his granddaughter on a walk and shows her how to make a nesting box for barn owls. And then he tells her many facts about the barn owl. And while he's telling her the facts, they sit and wait patiently to see whether or not a barn owl appears. I hope you enjoy this book. White Owl, Barn Owl. One frosty winter day, I helped my grandpa make a wooden box. What's it for, Grandpa? It's for the barn owls to nest in, he said. What barn owls? I asked, but Grandpa just smiled. Wait and see, he said. We carried the box across the tusky field. Barn owls like to nest in old farm buildings or hollow tree trunks. Where there aren't any, they will use a nesting box instead. Grandpa put the box high in the old oak tree. How do you know there are barn owls here? I asked. I've seen one sitting on a branch each night, Grandpa said. Look, it's left something behind. Under the branch was a pile of little sausage-shaped blobs. They looked like dry poop, but they were pellets. Barn owl pellets are actually this size. Barn owls have special perches that they come back to again and again, and a perch is a branch on a tree. The owl spit them out, Grandpa said, to get rid of fur and bones they can't eat. He pulled the pellet apart and showed me the tiny bones and skulls inside. Take a look at that there. Owls swallow their prey whole. That's why they need to spit out the bones and fur. Will the owls come to our box tonight? Maybe, Grandpa, said Grandpa. Maybe not. Owls are wild birds. You can't be sure what they'll do. In winter, barn owls have to fly miles every night to hunt enough food, so it's hard to find them. When the sun went down, we kept a lookout just in case, but we didn't see anything. We'll have to be patient, said Grandpa. We were patient lots of times. I thought we'd never see an owl. And then, one spring night, just as the sky went pink, a pale face looked out of our box. An owl! A white owl! A barn owl! In spring and summer, owls stay close to their nest box. And then Grandpa did a strange thing. He put his hand over his mouth and made a loud, squeaky sound. Right away, the barn owl took off and flew toward us. He thinks I'm a vole or mouse in the grass, Grandpa whispered. He's coming to see if he can catch his dinner. I just held my breath. The owl's whiteness gleamed and his face was like a pearly heart. A barn owl's huge eyes can see when it is too dark for human eyes to work. The heart-shaped soft ruff around the barn owl's face helps it to guide sound to its super sharp ears, which are just holes under the feathers on its head. Under their feathers, owls are slim. Their bones are hollow, which keep their bodies light and makes flying easy. The owl came closer and closer, then landed in the tree right by our hiding place. It was so light, it hardly bit the twig and perched on it. I could see the tiny ruffs of feathers around his face, face like stiff lace. I could see the speckled browns on his back. I could see the shine of his big dark eyes. I could have reached out to touch its velvety softness. And then it raised its wings like an angel and took off. It was so quiet, all I heard was my own heart beating. Owl's wing feathers are especially soft, so owls can move through the air silently and fly up to their prey without being heard. Look at the beautiful wings that the owl has. It does really look like an angel to me, too. The owl flew back and forth over the field. Then another owl came to join it. That's his mate, Grandpa whispered. One owl dropped to the ground and came up again. Look, look, Grandpa, it's caught something, I said. Barn owls catch their prey by pouncing with their long legs and needle-sharp talons. The owls flew straight to the box and went inside. Hiss, snore, twitter, hiss, snore. The weirdest noises came from Grandpa's box. They've got a family, Grandpa whispered. That's the baby owls squabbling over their dinner. Barn owls lay up to 6 eggs, which hatch one after another. The first chicks to hatch are the biggest, and the last chicks to hatch are the smallest. I held Grandpa's hand, and we walked as the moon came up. Will the barn owls always nest in our box now, Grandpa? I said. Grandpa smiled. You know, he said, I think they might. Barn owls will come back to the same nest site year after year if it stays safe and there's enough to eat nearby. A nest box note. Our modern farms, the open grassland where barn owls like to hunt, is often plowed up, and old trees and barns where they can nest are taken down. So barn owls have become rarer. That means they are not seen a lot. One way to help bring them back is to put up nest boxes. The barn owl nest box in this book is very sturdy and weatherproof, so it will last outside in a tree. But nest boxes inside barns, protected from wind and rain, can be very simple. Just an old crate will do. Nest boxes should be 10 to 15 feet up to keep them safe from predators and people, and should have nothing in the way of the entrance so the owls can fly right in. You can get more information about how to make a nest box and where to put it from your local wildlife protection organization. Sometimes it takes a while for owls to get used to the new nest box, but be patient. You could have a barn owl family in your box. I hope you enjoyed reading with me the story White Owl, Barn Owl. It's a mysterious and beautiful barn owl, and they can be found all over the world. But their silent flight and dwindling numbers mean that spotting one is reserved for the lucky and the patient. Maybe one day you can build a nest box for a barn owl to see whether or not one will come and perch near the nest box and finally make a home there. I hope you enjoyed this story with me as we learn more about barn owls. What can you do next? Well, you can make some facts. Write a story about barn owls yourself. Talk about all the different facts that you learn. For example, owl bars nest in barns, tree trunks, or nest box. They have favorite perches. They eat animals and spit out bones and fur. And what they spit out is called what? A pellet. You might want to do a little bit more research about white owls or barn owls. Maybe you like to write a poem about barn owls like you did before, but this time you can show and share a little bit more features that were not mentioned in your last writing. Well, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed the story, and stay tuned next week as we learn more about birds. Bye!